When I was living in Vermont in 2001 or 2002, whatever the year was, when Bush was proposing No Child Left Behind, Jim Jeffords was my senator, one of my two senators. The other one was Pat Leahy, who's still a senator from Vermont. And Jim Jeffords came out and opposed No Child Left Behind. And so I went to his office and I said, I'm writing a book about this is my book on equal protection, how corporations became people. I'm writing a book about corporate influence on government. And I'm just wondering, because he was saying No Child Left Behind is not going to benefit our kids. It's going to benefit a bunch of testing companies. And so I went to him and I said, how do you know? And Congress has this agency. It's a group of scholars who work exclusively for Congress. Their stuff is not published to the public. The only way you could get it, I would guess, would be by a Freedom of Information Act filing, or if a member of Congress gives it to you, and then you can't publish it. So it's just in this is called the Congressional Research Service, and they research things for lawmakers, and they do it in confidence so that the lawmakers can get expert advice and on whatever they want to get into. And Jim Jeffords had asked the Congressional Research Service, what will be the consequence of No Child Left Behind? And he had this huge report. I mean, it was somewhere between 80 and 200 pages. I saw it. I sat in his office and, I was allowed to kind of thumb through it. And the conclusion of this report was basically that this is going to have very little effect on our kids. It might even degrade public education because it's going to take time away from teaching. But the testing industry, the private for-profit testing industry, what No Child Left Behind mandated, before No Child Left Behind, teachers used to come up with their own tests. They would take the test out of the back of the textbook. They would, print it on the copy machine or the old Mimeo machine, pass them out. There was no testing company in between. What No Child Left Behind mandated were standardized tests administered by for-profit corporations. And Neil Bush had just started one of these companies, George Bush's brother. And what the Congressional Research Service said was that this $100 million a year industry, this testing industry, would become a multi-hundred million, possibly even $1 billion a year industry. It's now a $1 billion a year industry. Because now when teachers administer tests, these tests are copyrighted material, so they have to buy them. The tests are like $10, $20 a student per use. And so it's the testing business has become a business, and it's been inflicted on our public schools. So and Jim Jeffords was so PO'd about that in order to try to block it, because the Republicans controlled the Senate at that time by one vote, Jim Jeffords flipped from being a Republican to being an independent. He joined Bernie Sanders in the independent party, as it were. There is no party. He became an independent and began to caucus with the Democrats. But Ted Kennedy had been drinking the Kool-Aid, and the Democrats said, okay, that's fine. No Child Left Behind. We'll go along with that. And so Jim Jeffords was just left out there in the wind. And he didn't run for re-election. So anyhow, that's that story.